Hey guys, this is the Rubin Report. I'm still Dave Rubin. I've got Lissette Padilla, Kim Horcher with me. We have a tremendous amount of paper on this desk. That means we know what we're talking about. So let's get right to it. Obviously, the big story this week is the prisoner swap. We got back Sergeant Bowe Bergdahl from Afghanistan in exchange for 5 Taliban prisoners from Guantanamo Bay. There's all kinds of stuff going on that by the time we post this will probably have changed. There's some questions to whether 6 soldiers actually died while looking for him. He may have been a deserter and had not been captured, actually. All kinds of stuff. But I wanted to talk about this. Jeffrey Toobin on CNN, he is their legal analyst. I often don't agree with him on a lot of stuff, usually about the NSA, but he's saying that President Obama actually broke the law by not going to Congress before authorizing the prisoner release. Let's take a look.
You've looked at the law, you've looked at the signing statement, you've gone through it. Did the president break the law by engaging in this deal?
Oh, I think he clearly broke the law. The law says 30 days notice. He didn't give 30 days notice. Now, it is true that he issued a signing statement, but signing statements are not law. Signing statements are the president's opinion about what the law should mean. Now, it may be that the law is unconstitutional, a violation of his power as commander-in-chief, but no court has held that. The law is on the books, and he didn't follow it.
Okay, so as far as I know, we still have something called the Constitution in this country, even if we don't pay that much attention to it. So yes, he had this signing statement, but that doesn't supersede the law. So that's what I want to talk about here. Does anyone care about the law?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like, are we still surprised that Obama broke the law? I mean, what about ordering a drone strike on an American citizen without due process, in secret? What about the unprecedented war on whistleblowers? What about spying on the American people? The NSA are counting dead military-aged males killed by drone strikes as combatants, or signing into law the enshrining of the executive power to indefinitely detain terror suspects without trial. Really? We're surprised?
Yeah, so well done, Kim. You took care of 4 of my bullet points there.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. That was perfect, because that was my point, that we've done so much of this stuff.
But does it excuse it? I mean,
No,
yeah, sure, we're not surprised, but I don't think it excuses it. I mean, I think in this particular case, does it really matter that Congress got approval? Probably not really, because they would probably agree with it anyway. So in this particular case, I don't really think it matters. I think the bigger issue is that this keeps happening, and it's sad that we're not surprised about it.
Yeah, so President Obama did issue a statement about this. We have consulted with Congress for quite some time about the possibility that we might need to execute a prisoner exchange in order to recover Sergeant Bergdahl. We saw an opportunity. We were concerned about Sergeant Bergdahl's health. We had the cooperation of Qataris to execute an exchange, and we seized that opportunity. And the process was truncated because we wanted to make sure that we did not miss that window. Now, what they are also saying is that Bergdahl had some health issues. Now, he's being checked right now, but no one knows where he is exactly, so we haven't been able to verify that there was some sort of health issue that made that they needed to have this happen immediately. So even that statement, though, like, I get it. Like, he's like, yeah, we wanted to make this happen. We want to make it quick. It's sensitive. But again, that doesn't supersede the law. So should we do anything about this? Because I think this is the type of thing that the media is just going to drop. And it's like, he broke the law again, zippity-doo-dah.
I think because it made strategic sense, we're not that upset about it, right? But I think the major issue is that he keeps breaking the law. This administration, the former administration, keeps breaking the law, and a lot of times it doesn't make sense and we don't get an explanation. So I think that if we had more trust in the government, then stuff like this would be more passable. I think I'm just really upset because this is just another example of how the law is not followed and how we are not given information at all. And you mentioned so many things, and that's
all those things
that
we all forgot about.
So all of those things, when you add up all of those things, are those, how do you think we're going to look back at the Obama presidency, especially when it comes to these sort of security issues and the spying and all that? Like, he really, in my opinion at least, has severely dropped the ball here.
Well, yeah, but we're sort of used to him dropping the ball. But in this case, I feel like we didn't know so little about Bergdahl's, was he a deserter?
Right.
Was he sick? How many people died looking for him? Where is he now? There's such a lack of transparency that I think we'll remember for a long time.
Would any of that change your opinion on this? If it turned out that he was really sick and they knew he had 2 weeks to live, would that then mitigate you saying, well, okay, he can go ahead and break the law because we want him back before he dies?
I think again. I think in this particular situation, I'm not upset about the strategic, move that was taken, and it broke the law, because laws are meant sort of as safeguards. They're meant to like guide us.
Laws are meant to be broken.
They are. They're meant to be broken because sometimes they don't make sense. But the issue is that these laws keep being broken when we don't have any information or any transparency, as you mentioned, as to why it makes sense to break the law.
Yeah. Do you think the mainstream media might be more upset about this if it was, say, President Bush?
Well, you'll have to remember that their precious President Reagan did a similar, well, actually far worse. He traded weapons to Iran.
Yeah.
And it was a huge failure. And we kind of forgot about that. Isn't he the messiah of the Republican Party now?
Right, and also people were saying, well, we don't negotiate with terrorists. That's
We
what
do
that's what everyone on the right,
negotiate
on
with
the conservatives are all saying right now. Except we've done it with the past, and this wasn't a negotiation. This was a prisoner swap, which is different than negotiating with terrorists.
Kind of a negotiation.
It's sort of a negotiation, but it's not exactly. That's a whole other topic. Let's move on to more pressing political stuff. A friend of George Clooney's says he might be jumping into the political arena. We've got a quote. He has big ambitions and aims to get into politics imminently. He wants to do more humanitarian work and hopes to join the Democrats' 2016 election campaign. George is thinking of how he can get more involved. Now he has Amal by his side. It will give him more credibility to run for office. Of course, this is a friend of George Clooney's. Clooney obviously is no stranger to politics. He helped Obama get reelected in 2012. He does a lot of political fundraising. He's been involved in Darfur. He's also marrying British lawyer Amal Alamuddin, and she defended WikiLeaks' Julian Assange, and she's a human rights specialist. So obviously he has interests that go beyond just acting. And the reason I wanted to do this story, because of course this is just conjecture and it's one friend that's saying this, but I'm a firm believer that the way everything's heading in this country, we're going to just start voting in celebrities. I mean, Hillary is already becoming more of a celebrity than a politician, and Obama was sort of a celebrity candidate, and I think that's the route this is going, for better or worse. Is this net bad or net good, this celebrity political mumbo jumbo?
I think it depends on the celebrity, but I think it's an issue when we take someone's celebrity status, or for example, Arnold Schwarzenegger's like macho skills and power in movies and transfer it over to the real world. I think that's the issue when we assume that these characters that they play on television are actually part of who they are.
Right. So you wanted Schwarzenegger to like bust into the Capitol in Sacramento with a gun.
I think people
We're fixing everything. No,
I wanted him Hasta La Vista, baby. But that's a different story. I just think that it's kind of crazy how we all automatically attribute sort of characteristics to celebrities and assume that that's who they are. I think that's why people fall in love with celebrities. They don't realize that they're actors.
Right, so that's the part that I think is really interesting about this, because if you look at Clooney, he looks presidential, right?
Totally.
People like him. He could play the president very easily.
he played a presidential candidate before.
What was that?
I believe it was called The Ides of March.
I did not see that one.
This is courtesy of Ben Mankiewicz from Turner Classic Movies.
Would you vote for Clooney? Would you vote for
I
Clooney?
don't know, because on one hand, like, he seems like he's on the right side of things. He's pro-gay rights. He did a lot of work for Darfur before anyone else did. On the other hand, he's might be a little bit of an Obama crony. Like, what happens when his idealism gets kind of crushed and he's surrounded by these people that say, you do this, you do that, and he becomes a different man.
So what you're saying is he's not strong enough.
I mean,
You
work
want
out more.
Schwarzenegger.
But what I found really funny about that quote was it was kind of intimating, like, oh, now he's ready, now that he's about to have a wife, because he's qualified.
Right, he's getting this wife, so suddenly if you have a wife, then obviously you can be president. Just to clarify what I was saying earlier, I don't think that the celebrity thing and politics is like a net good in general, but I do think there's maybe like a little room where having people that are already rich and already popular maybe would be a little more honest, because they wouldn't be beholden to all the corporate interests. Maybe a little bit. I know it's a slippery slope, and even as I'm saying it, it sounds kind of gross.
Well, most of the politicians who started as celebrities and won were conservative. So the only two I can think of are Al Franken and, well, maybe it wasn't. Ashley Judd was going to.
Yeah,
So
she didn't.
Maybe it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Do you guys think we need what they have in most European countries, a president and a prime minister? So one, the president that's sort of the celebrity that does all the ceremonial stuff, and then a prime minister that actually does what our president does, like actually does the work. Because I think that might help. If we were able to get some of the like paparazzi stuff off with the president and then have someone else that was actually doing the work? Do you think that would help?
I don't know. I feel like that kind of happens already. I mean, I don't assume that President Obama is there actually doing something. Do you?
Oh, zing!
No,
Yeah.
I kid. But I don't know. I feel like they probably he probably has a certain set of responsibilities our president does, right? And then the others are divvied up.
Right, but don't you think so much of it is just going to the fundraisers, showing up at these events,
Yeah.
as opposed to doing the work? I think you agree with me, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a lot for one person. I just think that they already kind of divvy
Yeah.
it up.
What do you think? Should we have a president and a prime minister?
I'm
One
sorry,
do
we're
this-
not a monarchy? Oh, another thing!
Yeah, another zing at Obama. Wow.
Well, it might be. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one, Dave.
No?
Nah.
No? All right. My crazy idea. I want to turn us a little more into Europe. All right, I'm nuts. Okay. Speaking of nuts, Google cars, they are coming. They are going to be self-driving. They're not even going to have steering wheels. So when the car goes crazy, you won't even have a chance, people. Let's look at some specs from the upcoming Google car. They're going to have some interesting safety measures, like a flexible windscreen, foam-like material. The maximum speed for now, 25 miles per hour, so you're not taking a cross-country trip on this thing. There'll be a button for start and pull over and emergency stop in case something crazy happens. Of course, sensors used for self-driving so that they know that they're not going to hit another one of these Google cars or a regular car. And seating for 2 passengers. We've also got a little videotape of what the Google car is going to look like.
Go ahead and buckle up.
Okay, Annie, here we go. Yeah. All right, Connie, let's go. There's no steering wheel in the way.
Okay, so starting in 2015, Google is going to start using these cars in states that permit it. 4 states right now allow the testing of self-driving cars on public roads: California, Nevada, Florida, and Michigan. So I guess the first thing is, would you trust these vehicles? This seems kind of crazy. You're putting a lot of faith in the machines.
Well, listen, people have brought up before, what if your car gets hacked? What if someone overrides your computers? Even if you have a steering wheel, you're still pretty fucked in that situation.
Right.
I hate to break it to you. But yeah, there's a few things that aren't accounted for here. Like, what if you need to wait for your grandma to get out of the car in the car? Or what if you need to go find parking in a several stories tall parking structure and it doesn't read it like, as being more than 1 story tall? Or there's so many little things that I feel like aren't accounted for.
Right.
Technologically, you just are kind of concerned.
A little. I mean, not all situations can be. I don't think it's ready yet.
Right.
Like, what if I need to park off road?
Yeah, I don't
Right.
think we're
Where
ready
am I gonna
either.
go?
Yeah,
You don't think humans are ready?
I don't think
for
humans
this?
are ready. Like, I mean, I know they did like studies 5 to 10 years ago at Stanford where they had driverless cars and people freaked out. Granted, it's been some time since then, but still, people are really uncomfortable not being in control, particularly of a moving object. It's in our nature to want to be in control of our feet and where we move. It makes no sense to be in a car. I think biologically, our instincts tell us absolutely not.
Right, so before we fully get to the hacking and all the evil things that the machines are going to do to us, I think that's an interesting part of this, that just giving up the control.
Yeah.
I mean, just getting into this thing and having faith that it's not going to get hacked into, or just something crazy isn't going to happen, or someone else that's driving, because obviously we're not going to all change over at once, someone else that's driving normally is gonna just smack right into you anyway.
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot of pieces here.
Well, this is a good idea if all the cars are automated, because
Right.
then traffic would be cut down
It's like
and
Minority
accidents would be
Report.
cut
Yeah.
down. But when you're still counting on half the time, like other people's ability to not crash into you and kill you, it's not incredibly fortuitous.
There are so many ethical concerns that involve having all automated cars too, though. Like, for example, there could be a case where a crash is inevitable. If one car has 3 people, the other car has 1 person, what should the car do? Who should the car protect? Should it protect you as the car owner, or should it communicate with the
Ooh,
other
I
car
like that. The
and see if there
laws-
were 3 people there, save those 3 lives and kill you? There are all so many questions
What are
surrounding
those laws
ethics.
called? Isn't there a phrase for those laws that robots are going to have to abide by, like from iRobot? Like that kind of thing, where they're going to have to say, oh, there's 3 lives in this car, 1 just as you just said, and they're going to have to make decisions.
I know the word, but I keep thinking Prime Directive, and I know that's not it.
Yeah.
Because that is Star Trek.
I have other concerns about these cars. When I was watching this video, I kept thinking about this.
How did I get in this taxi? the door open, you got in.
Who would want to deal with that guy? That guy's freaky. That's my point. You're going to have these Johnny cabs, and they're going to be freaking people out. That's from Total Recall, of course, one of my favorite movies. So yeah,
that helps though. It's so funny you brought that up because that helps. In the studies, they've shown that if they have like a little tiny robot, a little tiny robot in a driverless car, people are much more comfortable.
Yeah, see,
R2D2.
I would trust R2D2 to control my vehicle. I don't know that I want Johnny Cab, but that even is interesting because we still want some level of human interaction there, which is why when they wrote that scene, they had the guy look sort of like, but it's scary.
That was far worse than having no one there.
Okay, so let's just let's finish up with this machines idea and the hacking and all that kind of thing. I mean, if this stuff is inevitable, then shouldn't we be fighting it anymore? Shouldn't we be fighting it more? You know what I mean? We're all walking around with these devices that can be hacked into. We're going to be in cars that can be hacked into. All this stuff, and it's just going to happen.
Cars can already be hacked into.
Cars can be hacked into now with OnStar and all that.
Yeah.
Well, now is the time to be forming legislation or some kind of figuring out what the order of this is and how it should work, and we should understand how it all works so that we're able to voice our opinions effectively rather than just being like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll take that. You know.
Whoa.
You're saying that our politicians should have foresight into things that we know are coming, and they should take.
Understand it.
What you're saying that we as the populace should understand something, and our politicians should have foresight to deal with it.
I'm saying knowledge equals good.
Whoa. That's why you host Nerd Alert. Those crazy nerdy thoughts. Lissette, you want to bring us home on this?
I don't know if I can be as nerdy, but I was thinking about car ownership and how this could potentially change that. How we may no longer own cars if it becomes really cheap to just have a driverless car come pick us up and like take us. We don't have to worry about insurance or gas or somebody driving. It might make sense, and that kind of excites me because I feel like it'll lead to lower carbon emissions.
Ooh, all right. We brought this around to not necessarily the car apocalypse, so I kind of feel good about that. All right, let's talk about the NRA, and no, I'm not talking about the National Rifle Association. I'm talking about the NRA, the National Restaurant Association, which might be slightly more dangerous, believe it or not. This is a political lobby representing the nation's largest food service companies. And they're one of the most powerful lobbyists on Capitol Hill. They get a lot of crazy shit done. Let's take a look. Okay, so they have nearly 52,000 members, and this includes Olive Garden, McDonald's, Red Lobster, Starbucks, things like that. They have a PR firm, Berman & Company, which is famous for opposing sensible public interest and safety laws. Their leaders are in Fortune 500 companies, and they have a budget of $65 million, and they employ 40 lobbyists. Okay, so on its face, nothing here sounds that bad. This is just how America works. But, so there's a lot of information here, so you can pause it and read it on your own. But some of the things that they've done, they've defended pink slime in burgers, which we've talked a ton about. Inhumane conditions for poultry. They've opposed industry pledges to raise pigs humanely. They've opposed Paycheck Fairness Act for waiters and waitresses, Pregnancy Discrimination Act, and they blocked a federal minimum wage increase for restaurant employees. They've found loopholes to exclude employees from the new health care law, all kinds of stuff. And there's a lot more. And nobody talks about this. And we talk about lobbying and money in politics all the time here. But I thought this was sort of interesting because it brings it literally to our table, right? The stuff that we are putting in our body. Yeah, the stuff right there. Should we know more about the National Restaurant Association? Did you know about this before we sent you guys the article?
In full disclosure, I worked for Olive Garden when I was in high school, so I knew
really?
I knew we were part of the NRA.
The other NRA.
Do they need a different name because we so associate NRA with obviously the rifle thing? Or this is their plan?
The way they like hide.
So it's like hiding in plain sight.
Right. Well, wasn't the WWF used to be the World Wrestling Federation, and then the World Wildlife Federation stepped in, and then the WWF, the wrestling one, became World Wrestling Entertainment or something. So shouldn't we force this other NRA to get another name so we could all focus on them a little more?
So we can understand them and get a good look at them? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Wait, before we move any further, what do we need to know about the unlimited salad? It's too good to be true, right? A lot of calories in that thing.
You know what you can know?
What?
You can switch the salad and you can switch the soup for free.
What do you mean?
For what?
Like
Switch
if you
it for
get
what?
unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks, you can get like one type of salad, and then it's still unlimited if you want to switch it to a Caesar, if you want to go with the minestrone, and then the chili, and then the Toscana.
Even Neil?
Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow. Well, you know, when you're here on the
useful.
Rubin Report, you're
There you
family.
go.
So there you go.
So helpful
Okay. So yes, so it shouldn't surprise us, I suppose, that a lobbying, an association like this would use lobbying to do all these horrible things. But shouldn't we know about this? Shouldn't we be talking about this? Why is this never discussed?
It's funny because we talk about these stories like Papa John's opposing Obamacare and saying, oh, it'll cripple us, but then finding out it doesn't. We think like, oh,
he's doing okay with
that
his
guy's
hundreds of millions
kind
of dollars,
of
by the way.
not cool. But then we learn there's this whole lobby espousing these ideas across the industry. It's not just one billionaire.
Yeah. Should the government? Why is the government so involved in our food? Isn't that like the bigger problem here, that we've so separated ourselves from our food source? You know what I mean? We don't do any kind of farm to table stuff. So then, of course, when you have all these middlemen that are, putting laws in that allow for all these chemicals and all this other stuff.
I mean, that's a big question. Why is the government involved in our food? It's necessary for survival. In the same way that it's involved in our air and keeping it clean, supposedly. But it's also involved in our food for profit because it has a lot of corporate interests to protect. I mean, you look at the dairy industry, the subsidies that they get, and agriculture. It's a place where they can make a lot of money, and politicians get a lot of money from these corporations, so it matters to them. Yeah,
so money in politics, of course. One of the things that I thought was interesting is that they've fought against lower sodium levels in food, which generally they say lower sodium is good for you.
But it doesn't taste as good. That's why. They want to sell more food and they want their products to be tasty.
Oh, so you're saying that the NRA is not in it for our public good. They're in it for us to buy more of their shit. I mean, are they in it with the salt people? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it just one big clusterfuck?
I mean, I'm sure if we look further, we'll find that there is profit to be had in certain areas, and that's why it's happening. What drives me crazy is that they were fighting to keep tipped server wages so low and fighting the minimum wage increase.
Yeah.
I mean, in other countries, like for the tipping thing, they're kind of, they don't encourage tipping, or it's looked upon as more, like, oh, you don't think I was good enough at my job.
Yeah.
It's more of something you can be prideful of, even your work as a waiter.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, did you guys know that YouTube is going to start putting a tip jar right over there? So I'm just saying, if you like what we're doing here, you could it's not there yet, I don't think. Okay, let's move on. In Sweden, they are going to test out something that is very un-American. They want to see if working less will actually increase productivity. That's right, the city government of Gothenburg, Sweden, wants to test the impact of shorter hours and how that affects productivity in an experiment that begins in about 3 weeks. So one group of government workers in the elderly care sector are going to work 6 hours a day, while another are going to work the 8 hours that they're accustomed to working. After a year, the government is going to analyze the results and decide whether the 6-hour day actually allows people to accomplish just as much as they were doing with the 2 extra hours. Of course, proponents of cutting the workday are saying that people will have fewer sick days and they'll be more efficient in general. And the International Productivity Ranking by Conference Board, a nonprofit business research organization, Sweden was already close to the top, coming out 11th in 61 countries in terms of productivity. And we've got some more info on that for you. So this is average work hours and international productivity rankings. Okay, so what you can see here is that in the Netherlands, they don't work a ton, but they're ranked 5th in productivity, pretty good. The United States, we do work a lot, an average of roughly 400 more hours a year than they do in the Netherlands, and our productivity is pretty good. Interestingly, in Chile and in Mexico, they work a ton, and their productivity is not good. So this all sort of, it's a little all over the place, but also I think you can get some interesting stuff from this. So let's just start with the American component, since we're in America here. This is very un-American, right? To say, oh, you should work less, and maybe that'll make you more productive, because we're just taught to work and work and work till we drop.
It's not working hard, it's working smart. So if you're tired and you're hating life, yeah, you're going to work much more poorly. So I kind of think Sweden has a point here.
Yeah. Should we jump on this bandwagon that Sweden? Because I think when they do, once they get the information back on this, they're going to see, yeah, people can work more nimbly and more swiftly.
I think it would be a great thing if people worked fewer hours, because we work a ton. A lot of people are independent contractors nowadays as well, and they're working more than 40, 50, 60 hours. We have a lot of young lawyers that are going crazy, 100, 120-hour work weeks. I think that's unacceptable, but I think that if we are going to lower the minimum number of hours for full-time work from, say, 8 to 6, we also have to make some changes so that workers are engaged and we're getting the same level of productivity.
Yeah.
So we know that certain activities at work lead to results and others don't. So that's where we should focus our energy, making people happier, more engaged at work.
So, all right, so let's talk about happiness, because we never talk about that, right? That's the one thing that's never talked about, is the relation between work and happiness. So they've done studies that show that people that are working are generally happier because then you have money and you can go do things and take vacations and things like that. But we don't really talk about it on sort of a day-to-day basis, like where happiness is coming from. And people, I'm sure, that are working 100-hour work weeks, probably not that happy, right?
No, like you miss your family, you're not sleeping enough, you're not eating enough, you're not seeing your friends, you're not getting the things done that you need to get done that aren't even fun at all.
Yeah.
Of course, you're stressed out.
Do you guys think that as the economy changes and now that we can do everything online and computers and things like that, that you can accomplish as much in 3 hours as maybe they used to be able to accomplish all day long? So I feel like a lot of people right now, people that are watching, there are a lot of people watching this at work. We know a lot of our videos are watched during work hours, and people are at work without things to do actually, because it's sort of the old paradigm of like working 9 to 5, but actually you can accomplish all you needed to do from like 9 to 11.
This idea of working to like from 9 to 5 comes from like the times of agriculture, when we had to wake up at a certain time and then there was light, and so we used up all the valuable light time and then we went to bed after the sunset or whatever. So it makes no sense to apply to like today's society where we have artificial light, where we have the internet, where we can communicate globally. I think that what's happening though is that because we have all these technological advances, we just want people to do more. And bosses expect more out of us. Like now, I've so many of my friends tell me my boss sends me an email at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm expected to respond. And I'm like, that's fucking nuts.
But isn't that, you get emails at that hour? Don't you feel that? Because I see it all the time. I get emails. I wake up, I check my email at 6 in the morning.
I get emails at like 10. I would get emails at like 10 or on the weekends and be expected to respond to them. I'm like, fuck this. Like, this is not okay.
Yeah, so is that the huge drawback to the technology? Because now they're saying how people don't even stop working when they're on vacation now because everyone has an iPhone and you can literally, on the beach, you're like, oh shit, you know.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Because people like from work are like, put out this fire, and it's like I'm in a different state now. No, but yeah, I can definitely see this. I feel like most of the workday is spent, hurry up and wait or wasting time running out the clock, and it doesn't need to be that way. We can enjoy our lives, shockingly enough, and we can enjoy our work, also shockingly enough.
Yeah, so if Sweden, which already, as we said, they don't work as much as us and they are more productive, if they find this to be true and really push this idea all over the country, do you think they're going to have an immigration problem? I'm pretty sure they don't have the easiest immigration policies in the first place. But really, do you think this would be the place? People would be like, you know what, they're doing something right there.
Sweden's different though too. They're very much focused on education, much more than the U.S. is, and they're also healthier. They have a better educational system. They have a better health system. So I think those two things also highly contribute to their productivity. It's not just about the hours. It's the fact that they have a society where even if they're working fewer hours, they're still working great.
There you go. All right, one more for you. Let's talk about condoms. Everybody loves condoms, right? There is some new condom technology. That's right, the Galactic cap, which claims to be stronger and safer than traditional condoms and enable better sensitivity. We've got an image of the cap. Okay, so what's happening here? Should we have put a parental warning on this video?
More graphic than the
that's
one you showed me.
Very horrifically
Dave.
graphic. Sorry guys, sorry ladies. All right, so it's basically like a tiny little cap that goes on the top of the penis. The rest of the penis is exposed, so you're gonna get more sensitivity. Everyone in the studio is really getting a kick out of this thing.
Isn't that one of the parts where it's most sensitive though? I don't have a penis, I don't know. The tip of the tip, yeah. Isn't that like really sensitive?
Generally a little lower than the tip of the tip. You know what I mean? Below the tip. Okay, good talk. That's it for us. No.
Not just the tip.
Yeah, okay. So the condom, it compromises two parts. A U-shaped polyurethane adhesive film that wraps around the penis. That's what you saw there. Sort of like a plastic around a finger. And a cap that sticks to firmly trap the semen. So a guy basically could wear this all the time and be ready for sex at any time. Do you think men would ever... Women have to be on birth control. You know what I mean? Women have to have taken responsibility
Yeah.
for their reproductive health, their sexual health. Men, it doesn't seem to me, would
I
be
feel like
able.
They're going to wear it for a long time, and it's going to get filthy.
Oh, it's,
Oh,
why?
Kim,
I'm
Kim?
just saying it might happen.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that's going to happen. People are going to get AIDS and they're going to get gonorrhea and herpes because this only protects against pregnancy. It doesn't protect against any STDs. So,
Right. Well, I guess there's some question whether it'll protect against some of the STDs because if
Well,
it
it's
does
like only
trap
skin
the
on
semen,
skin.
it does trap
Yeah.
the
But you
semen. So the
still-
skin on skin stuff
So, like,
could still be. So there's some
herpes.
questions related to that. But just to be a little clearer about how this thing actually works. So you could literally be wearing it all the time, and then when you want to have sex, if you can find someone that's willing to do it with you, you peel off the paper backing on the cap and stick it to the polyurethane to secure the bond
Oh,
between the.
Yeah.
Between the two, and,
don't
and then
know
you
why.
trap the semen.
You know, because the penis is an organ well known for always having the right amount of friction and always being dry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, wow, Kim.
I love that they emphasize that you can wear it all the time, anytime. I think it's crazy to think that a woman will be like, oh, you know, for the first time, you know, getting, you know, heavy petting or whatever, and then all of a sudden,
Heavy
like,
petting. You don't hear that one too often. Are you going to be
I
necking
mean,
up
I'm
at
talking about,
Lookout
like,
Hill?
I mean, the pants are down, and then you see it,
When
and
you
you're
look
like,
your
what
best gal.
the fuck? And also, I'm thinking, like, you premeditated this? Did you use it with somebody else before me? Like, no, not happening. You're not getting laid if you wear that.
Right, and
You're
also,
not.
so for you guys, if you were on a date with a guy, and then you got back to his place, to your place, wherever you are, and then
Not
you got
happening.
naked, and he already had one of those on,
Not happening.
you'd be like, what the fuck?
Ew.
Yeah.
No.
You need to go get a new one at least.
Yeah.
Because that's like,
Yeah, I like how you're really hung up on the.
I know what guys
Smell of
are
this
like.
thing.
Guys don't like to
You need to go to the doctor
be
and get a
diligent
whole.
about cleanliness.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're around some dirty.
No, you need to
some
go get a
dirty
whole
fellas, Kim.
STD test if you're gonna be wearing that. That's not
Yeah.
like.
All right, well, I guess I don't have to ask you my final question, which was, do you think this condom will finally revolutionize safe sex? It sounds like that's not going to be.
Maybe in like really committed long-term relationships or whatever, where like say the pill is giving like the girl an allergic reaction or morning sickness. Like pills are fucking awful. So if this is an alternative to using the pill in a like committed monogamous relationship, sure.
Yeah, but going back to what I said earlier, for guys, it just seems like guys just aren't responsible enough. And would you even trust the guy if there was something that was really like that small? I mean, would you trust him to, you know what I mean? Like you turn your head for a sec, for all you know, he ripped that thing off, and you may not even know.
Why would he want to do that? Why would he want to get me pregnant?
Well,
No.
he just
He
may
doesn't
want more
care.
sensation.
He's being selfish.
He's being selfish.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Fucker.
I like how you have so much faith in men. That's Kim, no faith in men. Lissette, a lot of faith in men. On that note, do you have faith in us? Let us know in the comments down below. Click like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can catch Lissette on the Lip TV, which is also on the YouTube, and Kim is on Nerd Alert, which is part of the TYT network. I hope you guys knew that already at this point. And barring an electrical outage, we will do this again next week. See ya.